I was in the yogurt aisle the other day watching this woman in front of me. She seemed really health conscious, thoughtfully comparing two different tubs. In one hand, she held a container of plain Greek yogurt. In the other, a brightly labeled cup of fruit on the bottom yogurt. After a moment of deliberation, she confidently placed the fruit yogurt into her cart. You could almost see her thought process playing out. It has fruit, it sounds wholesome, it feels like the healthier, tastier option. A sensible choice. But here's the part she didn't see, because she never flipped the package over. Out of curiosity, I did a quick mental check of the nutrition label on an identical cup. That single serving of healthy fruit yogurt contained 18 grams of added sugar. That's more sugar than you'll find in a glazed donut. The plain yogurt she put back, it had just 4 grams, none of it added. She walked away, pleased with her decision, having unknowingly chosen to eat dessert for breakfast. And it struck me that the most critical health choices we make aren't happening in a doctor's office or a pharmacy. They're happening right here, under these fluorescent lights, and most of us are making them completely blind. That moment in the yogurt aisle, it just hammered home this, sobering realization for me, this whole idea that our grocery cart could actually be our real doctor, shaping our health way more profoundly than we often grasp. It's a thought that, honestly, it just stopped me in my tracks, that maybe many of the chronic diseases we're facing, tragically, they don't start in a clinic, but right there, under those supermarket lights.
Exactly.
So this deep dive, it's really all about uncovering those hidden forces, the ones shaping your health. Everything from the big systemic issues to the subtle psychology of choice, and maybe even a glimpse into how future tech might empower us a bit more.
Absolutely. What that yogurt aisle moment truly crystallizes is, it's a startling truth, isn't it? Our most critical health decisions.
Yeah.
They're not primarily made in a doctor's office. They're happening under the fluorescent lights of the grocery store, influenced by forces we barely even perceive most of the time.
Yeah.
And this everyday scenario, it's not just about one person's oversight or, a single slip-up. It really reflects a much wider, much more complex public health challenge. It's this pervasive interplay of personal choices, yes, absolutely, but also really powerful market forces, deep-seated economic realities, and even just the innate way our brains are wired.
Yeah.
We're talking about systems that are, frankly, often stacked against making the healthiest choice the easiest choice for you.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I started digging into this piece about how our health is fundamentally tied to our grocery carts. It completely reshaped my thinking. It's just so easy to hand out advice like, just eat better,
Right, simple, right.
But the reality is just exponentially more complex. It's not just about learning to read labels. It's about these vast, intricate systems we live within. This whole thing sent me down this fascinating rabbit hole, really, leading me to stories or maybe perspectives that paint a much clearer and sometimes, frustrating picture. So try to imagine this woman, let's call her Maria, single mother, 2 kids. She lives in a neighborhood where the local corner store, that's the only supermarket for miles, basically a food desert.
Classic food desert scenario.
She works 2 jobs. So her time is just as precious as her budget is tight. It's a constant juggle. So every evening, right, she's just bombarded with commercials. Brightly colored, fun-shaped snacks, easy-to-make dinners. The stuff her kids then beg for.
Oh, yeah. The pester power is real.
Totally. And when she finally gets to that corner store, those same processed foods, they're stacked high right at the entrance. Big sale signs. And often they are demonstrably cheaper than the small, often slightly wilted selection of fresh vegetables tucked away in some dimly lit corner.
It's a familiar picture in too many places. The less healthy stuff gets prime real estate.
Exactly. And look, Maria knows fruits and vegetables are better. She's not uninformed. She reads articles on her phone during her break, about balanced diets, healthy eating.
She has the knowledge.
Right. But when it's 7 p.m., she's utterly exhausted, bone-tired. And a box of macaroni and cheese costs, a fraction of buying chicken and fresh broccoli?
A tiny fraction, usually.
The choice feels less like a conscious decision and more like it's already been made for her by the circumstances. And this is the crucial point for me. This isn't a failure of her willpower. It's a profound failure of the system she's navigating every single day.
That's a really important distinction. Blaming the individual misses the entire context.
My take on this, and really what this deep dive underscores, is that we just cannot keep placing the entire burden of health entirely on individuals like Maria. Her story isn't some rare anomaly. It's the reality for millions across the country, maybe even right in your own community.
Absolutely. It's incredibly common.
So when the most heavily marketed, the most affordable, and the most accessible foods are precisely the unhealthiest ones, well, we're not dealing with a crisis of personal choice anymore.
No, it's much bigger than that.
It's a sprawling public health issue, and it demands serious, systemic, policy-level change. We absolutely need to start talking honestly about government subsidies that favor certain crops, like corn and soy, over fresh produce.
Yes, the subsidies play a huge role in making processed foods cheaper.
And the stark reality of these food deserts and just the pervasive nature of marketing regulations, or maybe the lack thereof. So, okay, let's really unpack this idea then. Your grocery cart is your real doctor. It's a sobering thought, isn't it?
It really is.
But so many chronic diseases, tragically, they might begin not in the hospital, but right there, in the grocery store aisle.
It's the cumulative effect.
Exactly. It's about how our daily food choices, made consistently over years, over decades, are quite literally programming your body's future. They influence everything. Systemic inflammation, which we now know is at the root of so many illnesses.
The foundation for so much chronic disease.
Right, to the delicate stability of your blood sugar, and even, the cellular damage that just accumulates silently over time.
Sneaky stuff.
And the truly insidious part. Processed foods have infiltrated even our seemingly healthy routines. You grab a granola bar for breakfast, right? Marketed with pictures of sunshine and fields.
What wholesome.
Totally. But it could easily pack more added sugar than a candy bar, or that whole wheat bread you feel good about buying. It might be spiking your sodium intake way beyond what your kidneys can comfortably handle.
Putting that silent strain on your heart, day after day.
It's this constant, often invisible battle for our bodies, even when we genuinely believe we're making good decisions.
It is. And the challenge presented by these everyday grocery choices, it's just immense, particularly because of these pervasive hidden dangers lurking in products that often appear innocent. Or worse, they're actively marketed as genuinely healthy.
Like the yogurt.
Yeah, exactly like the yogurt. When we actually examine the nutritional landscape of the average American grocery cart, we consistently find these three, silent killers. They're largely overlooked, but they're insidiously contributing to long-term health decline for so many people. The first of these is excess sodium. This stuff truly acts like a stealth saboteur within our diets.
Stealthy is the right word.
It really is.
Yeah.
The damage it inflicts is slow, it's cumulative, and often it's subtle until things are quite advanced. We're talking chronic water retention, which puts immediate strain on your cardiovascular system. Then there's that gradual, relentless rise in blood pressure and the progressive development of heart disease that just advances so quietly. You often won't notice symptoms until significant damage has occurred.
Scary.
It is. And it's not just the obvious stuff like chips or, fast food. Sodium is loaded into surprising places. Take bread, for example.
Bread.
Oh, absolutely. Just 2 slices can contain up to 400 milligrams of sodium. That's a big chunk of your daily allowance right there. Canned soups. Notorious, often packing a massive 800 to 1,200 milligrams per single serving.
Wow.
Even those healthy canned vegetables you might toss in a stew, often preserved with high levels of sodium. Same with deli meats. The average American currently consumes around 3,500 milligrams of sodium daily. That's a staggering 50% above the American Heart Association's recommended limit of 2,300 milligrams.
50%.
And for people at higher risk of heart disease, the ideal intake is even lower, less than 1,500 milligrams. To put that 3,500 milligrams into perspective for you, that's basically like adding an extra teaspoon of salt to your diet every single day, year after year, until your arteries literally stiffen and your heart is under immense constant pressure.
Okay, that visual really hits home. An extra teaspoon a day.
Second, we confront the pervasive issue of added sugars, what I sometimes call the sweet deception.
More hidden stuff.
Exactly. These aren't just empty calories, they are active drivers of weight gain. They significantly increase your risk of type 2 diabetes by overwhelming your insulin sensitivity over time. They fuel chronic inflammation throughout the body, and they lead to those notorious energy crashes that plunge you into this vicious cycle of craving even more sugar.
Yeah, that crash is real.
And these sugars, again, they aren't just in obvious sweets like candy or cookies. They are hiding in plain sight. Many seemingly wholesome granola bars can contain 12 to 15 grams of added sugar per bar.
That's like 3 or 4 teaspoons right there.
Precisely. Flavored yogurts, which so many people see as a healthy breakfast, can paradoxically contain more added sugar than a serving of ice cream.
No way.
It's true. Even staple items like tomato sauce can pack 4 to 8 grams of sugar per half cup, and they're common in salad dressings, crackers, countless other processed foods lining our supermarket shelves. Added sugars contribute to a significant 17% of U.S. adults' daily calorie intake. That's a clear indicator of just how profoundly integrated they are into our modern diet.
17%. That's huge.
And third is the critical lack of fiber. This is truly the missing foundation of so many modern diets.
Something we don't talk about enough, maybe.
Definitely not enough. This widespread deficiency contributes directly to unhealthy weight gain because fiber helps you feel full, promotes satiety. Without it, you tend to eat more. Leads to poor digestion, irregular bowel movements. It compromises your immune system by starving the beneficial gut bacteria.
The gut connection.
Exactly. And it significantly increases the risk of colon cancer. Fiber is absolutely crucial because it feeds your good gut bacteria, essential for overall health. And it helps you feel full and satisfied after eating, preventing overconsumption. The USDA guidelines recommend a minimum of 30 grams of fiber per day for adults. Ideally from real, whole foods, fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, nuts.
Okay, 30 grams. That sounds like a lot.
It can feel like it, especially compared to what most people actually get. The unfortunate reality is that most Americans consume less than half that recommended amount, less than 15 grams a day, often, leaving their digestive systems and gut microbiomes severely undernourished. So for you, the listener, how can you effectively defend against these silent killers as you navigate those grocery aisles? It feels overwhelming, but there are practical steps.
Okay, yeah. Give us the defense plan.
Right. When you're scrutinizing labels for sodium, aim for products with less than 150 milligrams per serving. That's a good benchmark. If you find a product you really love that's higher, maybe consciously reduce your portion size. Or balance it out by eating very low sodium foods for the rest of that day. It's about awareness.
Makes sense. Balance.
For added sugars, try cultivating this mental habit. Remember that 4 grams of added sugar equals 1 teaspoon.
Okay, 4 grams, 1 teaspoon. Got it.
So if you pick up that granola bar and it lists 12 grams of added sugar, immediately translate that in your mind. It's 3 teaspoons of sugar. Then ask yourself, honestly, would I add that much sugar if I were making this myself at home?
Probably not. That's a powerful visual.
It really is. It cuts through the marketing. And for fiber, a simple, robust rule of thumb is to check the nutrition label for at least 3 grams of fiber per serving. If a product falls short of that 3-gram mark, it's likely not contributing much to your daily fiber needs and might not be as health supportive as you think. Aim higher when you can, of course, but 3 grams is a decent minimum to look for. Now, when it comes to label literacy, you need to internalize this golden rule. The front of the package. That's marketing. Meticulously designed to appeal to your desires, your perceptions of health.
The pretty pictures, the buzzwords.
Exactly. The back of the package, the nutrition facts panel, that's the unvarnished truth. You need to become an expert detective.
Put on the detective hat.
You got it. Actively look for and avoid specific hidden sugar names like dextrose, cane juice, agave nectar, maltodextrin, high fructose corn syrup. The list goes on, especially if they appear in the first 3 ingredients.
Why the first 3?
Because ingredients are listed by weight. So the first few ingredients make up the majority of the product. If sugar in any form is up top, that's a red flag, and always be acutely aware of serving size deception.
The tiny serving size.
Yes, that healthy granola or snack mix might proudly list only 5 grams of sugar per serving, but is that a realistic portion you would actually eat? Often a single package contains 3 or 4 servings of what most people consume in one sitting.
So you're getting way more sugar than you think.
Unknowingly multiplying that sugar, fat, or sodium intake. Don't be fooled by vague or misleading marketing terms splashed across the front either. Natural, made with real fruit, multigrain, whole grain, they frequently mask high levels of added sugars, refined flours, or unhealthy fats.
So multigrain doesn't always mean healthy.
Not necessarily. It just means multiple types of grain, which could still be refined. Whole grain is better, but you still need to check the rest of the label. Your new foundational habit should be literally flip every single package over before it ever goes in your cart.
Flip it over every time.
Every time. For quick scanning, especially when you're busy, mobile apps like Yuka or Fujicate can be incredibly helpful tools. They give you instant insights right there in the aisle. And to make these shifts easier, more sustainable, try concentrating on simple swaps. Small changes that deliver outsized health benefits over time.
Okay, like what kind of swaps?
Instead of white rice, which is largely stripped of its nutrients, embrace brown or wild rice. More fiber, more nutrients, or even try a veggie-based alternative like cauliflower rice. Swap those highly processed flavored yogurts, often loaded with sugar, for plain Greek yogurt. Higher protein, good probiotics. Then just add your own fresh berries for natural sweetness and antioxidants.
You control the sugar then.
Exactly. Instead of high-sodium canned soups, look for low-sodium versions. Or even better, invest a little time making homemade soups. You control everything. Choose steel-cut oats or unsweetened muesli over sugary breakfast cereals. Sustained energy, no sugar crash.
Big difference in the morning.
Huge. For drinks, combine whole fruit with sparkling water. Refreshing, naturally sweetened, way better than fruit juice, which often lacks fiber and spikes blood sugar, and herbal tea or infused water. Wonderful, hydrating alternatives to soda. These small, consistent, deliberate choices, they compound into truly significant long-term health improvements for you.
That's really practical advice. Small swaps add up. But it really brings us back to Maria's story, doesn't it?
It does.
When affordability and just sheer ease of access are such colossal drivers for consumers, the burden truly cannot and just should not be placed solely on individual education. We can tell people to eat better all day long, but if the system is actively working against them, well, it becomes an almost impossible ask sometimes.
You've hit on such a crucial point there. Stepping back, looking at the bigger picture, it raises this incredibly important question. How do we strategically shift the economic accessibility and the marketing of these ultra-processed foods? They're so pervasive, so detrimental to our collective health. And recent research has given us some fascinating insights into consumer behavior here. It indicates that the effortlessness of obtaining ultra-processed food, how easy it is to get along with its fundamental affordability, those are the factors that exert the highest influence on consumer satisfaction and, critically, their purchase intention.
Effortlessness and affordability, more than convenience or taste.
More than convenience or pure hedonism, which is actually a surprising finding. We might assume it's just about taste or quickness, but what this really implies is profound. If healthy food required less effort to acquire, maybe through better access in neighborhoods, simpler meal prep options, and was also significantly cheaper, people would intuitively choose it more often.
That feels like common sense, but the research backs it up.
It does. And this research provides a clear mandate, really. Food policymakers, public health interventions, they need to consider direct, impactful actions. One pathway could be reducing the affordability of ultra-processed foods through strategic taxation. Another is mandating compulsory nutritional warnings directly on the front of food packages.
Like tobacco warnings, almost.
Something like that. Clear, simple warnings. This would directly counter the aggressive, often misleading marketing tactics food companies use. A prime example of this policy in action is the sugar-sweetened beverage, or SSB, taxes.
The soda taxes.
Exactly. Real-world evaluations of these taxes have yielded compelling results. A big meta-analysis looking at lots of studies found that, on average, a 10% in SSB tax is associated with a significant 10% decline in purchases and dietary intake of those taxed drinks.
So they actually work.
They do. And critically, the data shows larger taxes tend to have even larger impacts. Beyond just shifting behavior, these taxes can also be incredibly cost-effective public health tools. They often generate substantial revenue that can then be strategically reinvested into vital health initiatives, funding healthy school lunches, nutrition education, that kind of thing. The World Health Organization actually recommends an even higher threshold, a 20% tax on SSBs for maximum impact.
20%. Wow. That would make a difference.
It certainly would aim to. However, it's also important to acknowledge the nuances here, the complexities of taxation. While consumption of taxed drinks generally declines, we often see a corresponding increase in consumption of untaxed beverages, like plain water or unsweetened tea, which is generally a positive outcome.
Okay, so people substitute.
Often, yes. But there can be exceptions, maybe influenced by how other drinks are priced or taxed in that specific place. The overall effectiveness can also vary quite a bit, based on the specific design of the tax and the local context. For instance, some studies suggest taxes designed with specific sugar thresholds, where the tax only hits drinks above a certain sugar level, or volumetric taxes, which are a flat tax per liter regardless of the price.
So cheap soda gets taxed the same amount per liter as expensive soda.
Exactly. Those might have a greater, more equitable impact than ad valorem taxes, which are just a percentage of the price. With ad valorem, the cheapest sodas might still feel like a bargain even with the tax.
Interesting. So the type of tax matters.
It really does. Researchers are finding that a flat per liter tax can actually drive bigger shifts, especially among those most sensitive to price, because it makes the healthy alternative relatively more appealing across the board.
That's truly compelling data on how policy can shift behavior. And it highlights something else I found really striking in all this. While these big policy changes like taxes seem to work pretty effectively, individual nutrition education, when it's done alone, often falls short.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we don't know broccoli is better than a sugary snack, right? But the environment often makes it incredibly hard to actually act on that knowledge. It almost feels counterintuitive, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And this raises that fundamental question. Why does individual nutrition education, when it's just delivered in isolation, often fail to produce sustained long-term results? It's not that education is bad or useless. Far from it. It's foundational. But as study after study clearly demonstrates, it's rarely enough on its own to fundamentally transform deep-seated habits.
So knowledge isn't power, necessarily.
Knowledge is potential power, maybe. But successful nutrition programs, particularly those for kids, consistently show they thrive when what researchers call mediating variables are firmly in place.
Mediating variables. Okay, what are those?
Think of them like the essential support beams in a house. The nutrition education, that's the crucial blueprint. But without those structural beams, the whole building struggles to stand.
Gotcha, the support structure.
Exactly. These mediating variables are crucial external factors that actively support and reinforce the educational messages. For example, a supportive school food environment, where healthy options aren't just available, but they're presented appealingly, made the default choice.
Making the healthy choice the easy choice.
Precisely. Or ample, consistent opportunities for physical activity integrated throughout the school day. Or strong, consistent support from parents and caregivers at home, modeling healthy behaviors, reinforcing the messages. Without these integrated changes to the broader environment, the immediate physical and social context education programs are highly unlikely to yield those sustained behavioral shifts we need for long-term health. In essence, knowledge alone, it isn't sufficient. The path of least resistance, the easiest choice, must also unequivocally lead to the healthier option. That's the real challenge and the core insight here.
That brings us perfectly to our next big idea. Let's switch gears entirely now and talk about the fascinating psychology of shopping. Because our brains, whether we realize it or not, are constantly being nudged. This isn't just about willpower, it's about what experts call choice architecture.
Choice architecture, I like that term.
Yeah, it's the subtle ways our environment is designed to nudge us towards certain decisions, often without us even knowing it's happening. I came across this really compelling post online, a confession, sort of, from a guy named David.
Okay.
He's in his 30s, seems pretty health conscious, follows a lot of fitness influencers online. Every Sunday, he meticulously plans his healthy meals for the week ahead. Very organized.
Sounds like he's got it figured out.
You'd think. But his trip to the grocery store, he lamented that's where it all consistently falls apart for him. Every week, he walks in with this carefully crafted list. Kale, quinoa, lean protein, all the good stuff.
The best intentions.
Totally. Yet the moment he steps inside, the store's layout reveals itself to be, as he put it, a masterpiece of psychological warfare.
Huh. I can picture it.
Right. The irresistible smell of the bakery hits him first. Warmth, comfort, nostalgia maybe. Then he passes a buy one, get one free offer on his favorite childhood cookies. A potent nostalgia trap.
The Bugo trap. Classic.
Totally. Then, as he finally reaches the checkout line, exhausted from resisting temptation for 45 minutes straight, what does he face?
Let me guess. Candy and soda.
Bingo. A brightly lit wall of candy and soda, strategically placed for impulse buys right when your guard is down. He calls it decision fatigue.
That mental exhaustion after making too many choices, it's a real thing.
Absolutely. By the time he leaves, his cart does have his healthy items, but it also has the cookies, a bag of chips, and a soda he grabbed at the last second, almost without thinking. He says he feels weak, but really he's just human.
He's fighting the environment.
And his story just perfectly highlights the science of habit and choice architecture. We like to think of ourselves as these perfectly rational shoppers, always in control, but the truth is, we're not.
Not even close, most of the time.
Our brains are hardwired to take shortcuts, to respond viscerally to sensory cues like that bakery smell, and to seek immediate gratification, especially when we're tired or stressed.
Like at the end of a long shopping trip.
Exactly. And supermarkets. They are not accidentally laid out this way. They are meticulously designed by marketing experts to exploit these very cognitive biases.
It's behavioral science applied to retail.
Precisely. David's struggle isn't a lack of knowledge or some kind of moral failing. It's a battle against an environment literally engineered to make him fail. It shows us that promoting healthier eating isn't just about giving people information. It's fundamentally about redesigning the choice architecture itself, making the healthy option the easy, the default, the most appealing option.
That's a perfect encapsulation. And what's truly fascinating here is precisely how this retail food environment wields such an influential role in shaping our daily diets.
Yeah.
Particularly considering, as you said, the vast majority of people do their main grocery shopping in these large supermarket chains.
Right. That's where most of the food decisions happen.
Exactly. So given this reality, we absolutely have to move beyond just telling people what to eat. We need to strategically consider how we can nudge them, subtly yet effectively guide them towards better choices within these existing environments. And one concrete way we've seen this nudging in action is through what are called swap interventions.
Swap interventions. Okay.
Basically, they're designed to encourage consumers to select a healthier alternative to a product they might typically buy. Swap this for that. It's an interesting dynamic, though. Studies done in online experimental supermarkets consistently show higher swap acceptance rates compared to interventions in real-life physical stores.
Why is that? Less pressure online?
Could be less pressure, maybe fewer distractions. It just underscores the inherent complexity of real-world consumer behavior. It's influenced by a million factors beyond just what appears on a screen, smell, time pressure, who you're shopping with.
All that real-world messiness.
Exactly. Which makes real-world trials so important. A compelling, large-scale example of this was the in-store signposting trial, conducted countrywide in the UK. This comprehensive trial aimed to meticulously test if wobblers, those eye-catching signs that stick out from the shelves.
Yeah, the little dangly things.
Those. Could they effectively nudge customers towards healthier product swaps right there at the point of purchase? They carefully selected and tested 8 specific product pairs. In each pair, the healthier option consistently had a better nutritional profile, lower saturated fat or sugar, maybe higher fiber. Think curly fries versus crinkle-cut fries, or frosted flakes versus a less sugary cereal like Honey Loops, or creamy coleslaw versus the reduced fat version.
Okay, direct comparisons.
Direct comparisons. And the beauty was its real-world application, giving insights into actual purchasing behavior, not just clicks online. And the trial yielded some very clear success stories. It showed the power of targeted nudges. Sales of healthier cereals, for instance, increased by an impressive 32.37%. That's a significant shift.
Wow, over 30% just from a sign.
Just from a sign. Similarly, healthier coleslaw sales jumped by a remarkable 71.47%.
Whoa.
And crucially, the sales of the original, less healthy products in those pairs, they remained stable. That suggests a genuine shift in preference, not just people buying more cereal or coleslaw overall. Now, this success was strongly linked to the specific messaging used on the wobblers. It predominantly focused on sugar and calorie reduction.
Hitting the big concerns.
Exactly. Those are high health priorities for a vast majority of shoppers. So the message resonated directly with their existing health concerns and motivations. It convincingly showed that when the nudge's message aligns precisely with what shoppers already care about, these subtle interventions can be remarkably effective. However, the trial also illuminated a potential downside, a phenomenon the researchers termed the cross-promotion effect.
Cross-promotion, meaning?
For fries, rice, and cheese, the unexpected outcome was that sales of both the healthier swap and the original less healthy product increased.
Oh, so people just bought more fries overall.
Potentially. For fries, the healthier swap saw a huge 90.71% increase, which sounds great. But the original fries also saw a 32.58% increase. While it might seem like a net positive maybe, it becomes problematic if it leads to customers buying a higher total number of calories because the signposting inadvertently drew their attention to a product category they hadn't initially planned to buy from.
Right, it highlights the whole category.
Exactly. The messaging for these 3 categories focused on fat and fiber. And survey data consistently shows shoppers tend to report those as less important health priorities than sugar or overall calories. So the message might have been less motivating. Interestingly, the researchers guessed that fries might be seen as an easy entry point for healthier versions. People might assume the taste won't be that different, making the switch feel less risky.
Less of a sacrifice, maybe.
And finally, there were cases with no discernible impact or even unintended consequences. This shows the limits of nudging. For chicken, tuna, and granola, the trial had virtually no impact on sales of the healthier product.
Huh. Why not those?
Well, shoppers seem more resistant to swaps for protein-based meal centers. These items usually cost more, they're central to meal planning, people are less willing to experiment. That finding matched results from online swap studies, too.
Okay, more brand loyalty or habit there.
Probably. And with granola, there was a really curious, slightly concerning result. Sales of the original, less healthy granola product were actually higher than predicted during the trial.
It backfired. People bought more of the less healthy one.
It seemed to. This unintended consequence could maybe be explained by the fact that fiber messaging, while important, is sometimes associated with a negative trade-off with flavor in consumers' minds. Healthy means it tastes bad.
Right, that perception.
Plus, the healthier granola in this specific pair was a relatively new product, maybe not fully trusted or familiar yet. It highlights the role of familiarity in established preferences.
That is such a nuanced look at nudging. So what does this all really mean for us as consumers and maybe for retailers too? The research clearly shows that signposting, these subtle nudges, they can be a powerful tool. But it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all solution, is it?
Not at all.
Different products, different categories, and crucially, different messaging strategies lead to wildly different outcomes. It's a much more complex dance than just, slapping a sign on a shelf.
Absolutely. And when we connect this back to the bigger picture, it just underscores the profound importance of understanding customer motivations on a much deeper, almost psychological level. The trial compellingly reinforces that clear, targeted messaging, meticulously aligned with what consumers prioritize, is absolutely essential.
Get the message right.
Get the message right. And that's critical not only for driving positive behavior, but also to prevent those unintended consequences like cross-promoting less healthy stuff, or worse, the backfire effect where people choose the original more often. This sophisticated understanding of human behavior is paramount for designing truly clever and effective choice architecture within retail. The goal isn't just to make the healthier choice an option.
Yeah.
It's to make it the easy option, the default option, the most genuinely appealing option for you, the consumer. It's about designing a system that works with your natural inclinations, not constantly fighting against them.
This whole mental game aspect is just so crucial, isn't it? We beat ourselves up so often when we succumb to these environmental nudges or marketing tricks. We think it's this profound lack of willpower.
Yeah, the self-blame is huge.
But as David's story so vividly illustrates, it's often the environment itself that's working against us. Subtly engineered to exploit our cognitive biases, our decision fatigue. The really good news for you, the listener, is that understanding this dynamic, that can be incredibly empowering.
It takes the blame off, allows for strategy.
Exactly. It's about recognizing you're not inherently failing. The system is just designed with these incredibly powerful influences. And that realization means you can also start to consciously redesign your own choices.
Yeah.
Take back some control. You can adopt strategies like habit stacking, pairing a new healthy habit with something you already do consistently, like checking labels while you wait in the checkout line.
Building on existing routines, smart.
Or, critically, reframing your mindset. Don't see the grocery store as this formidable gauntlet of temptation. See it as a powerful space where you are actively investing in your future health. It's about celebrating progress, even small steps, rather than demanding this unattainable perfection from yourself. Even minor changes, when they're consistent, can lead to dramatic, life-altering improvements over time. Okay, now let's pivot one last time. Let's look into the future, maybe offering a more hopeful note for individuals who feel really overwhelmed by all these dietary challenges. Which brings us to a pretty compelling story about how technology is starting to offer genuinely personalized solutions. I had this really hopeful story about an older gentleman, let's call him Arthur.
Okay, Arthur.
After a routine checkup, his doctor delivered the news, pre-diabetic, needed to make significant dietary changes, and urgently. Arthur, well, to put it mildly, he was overwhelmed.
Understandable. Big changes after a lifetime.
Totally. He'd been eating basically the same way for 70 years. He found nutrition labels utterly confusing, contradictory, frankly a bit abstract, hard to connect to his plate.
It's just numbers on a box for many people.
Exactly. But his daughter, who works in tech, she stepped in. She set him up with a new wearable watch, one that discreetly tracked his blood sugar levels in real time, and an AI-powered app on his phone.
Okay, bringing in the tech.
Right. At first, Arthur was deeply skeptical, dismissively called it newfangled nonsense.
Sounds about right.
But then, on his next grocery trip, something clicked. Something shifted. He scanned a loaf of white bread with his phone. The app immediately flashed this clear red warning.
Instant feedback.
Instant feedback. And it simultaneously suggested a whole grain alternative with a significantly higher fiber content. Then he pointed it at a fruit on the bottom yogurt.
The classic culprit.
Right. And the app, with equal clarity, told him, watch out, 20 grams of added sugar here. For the very first time, that abstract, often confusing advice from his doctor, it became concrete, real-time, actionable guidance right there in his hand.
Making it tangible.
Exactly. He started seeing it as a kind of game, he said, a personal challenge to find the green light foods. Now, Arthur's experience, it's more than just a nice anecdote. It feels like a powerful glimpse into a very possible future. And while I'm always cautious about declaring tech some kind of magic bullet because we absolutely have to talk about critical issues like data privacy and the significant costs and accessibility barriers for people who aren't as privileged as Arthur.
Crucial caveats. Huge ethical considerations.
Huge. But it's genuinely hard to deny the transformative potential here. For so many people, the sheer volume of nutritional information, often conflicting, is just paralyzing.
Information overload is real.
Totally. Technology like this, as Arthur discovered, can cut through that noise. It can offer highly personalized, actionable advice at the exact moment it's needed most right there in the grocery aisle. It holds the promise of empowering individuals to truly take control of their health in a way that feels supportive, collaborative, not punitive, and potentially mitigating the risk of chronic disease, one informed, real-time choice at a time.
That's a truly inspiring story, Arthur's story. And it perfectly illustrates the immense potential of artificial intelligence and personalized nutrition to fundamentally transform how we approach health and diet. Traditional nutrition education often struggles precisely because it tends to be that one-size-fits-all approach. It's just not tailored enough to the incredibly diverse and specific individual needs of each person.
Our bodies are all different.
Exactly. And this is where AI, with its sheer computational power, could truly shine and redefine our capabilities. To give you a concrete example of this potential, a recent study offered truly remarkable results. It rigorously compared AI-generated personalized nutrition PN prescriptions against conventional dietitian-designed plans, specifically for type 2 diabetes patients.
Okay, a head-to-head comparison.
A head-to-head, 12-week randomized controlled trial designed to get compelling, evidence-based data on AI's efficacy. And the findings were quite striking across several key health parameters. When it came to glycemic control measured by HbA1c levels, that critical biomarker for diabetes management, the AI-generated diet, led to a significant 2.82% reduction in HbA1c.
That sounds like a big drop.
It's a clinically meaningful improvement for someone managing type 2 diabetes. Now, the dietitian-led plan also achieved a reduction, 0.34%, which is also good. Both were statistically significant. But the AI-assisted model clearly showed a greater overall impact. And the thinking is, this superior effect comes from AI's sophisticated algorithmic precision in macronutrient distribution.
Meaning it fine-tunes the carbs, protein, fat better.
Exactly. It can process vast individual data sets, blood sugar responses, activity levels, maybe even genetics, to see how specific nutrient combinations impact that individual's unique blood sugar response. It can fine-tune ratios, fiber intake, glycemic load adjustments with unparalleled accuracy, a level of precision a human dietitian just can't manually match for every single patient. The AI-generated diet also demonstrated notably superior results in improving lipid profiles. Those are crucial indicators for cardiovascular health, triglycerides, cholesterol.
Oh, okay, heart health too.
Big time. The AI diet significantly reduced serum triglycerides by about 51 mg/dL and total cholesterol by over 20 mg/dL. Now, the dietitian-led plan also showed beneficial improvements here, but to a lesser extent about 35 mg/dL reduction for triglycerides, 7 mg/dL for cholesterol. The greater impact with AI might be due to its computational ability to precisely balance different types of dietary fats, emphasizing the good ones, monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, omega-3s. Plus, AI diets can more effectively account for the precise inclusion of things like dietary phytosterols and specific types of soluble fiber, both known to directly help lower cholesterol.
So it's optimizing multiple factors at once.
Exactly. It's juggling all these complex interactions. This isn't just about cool algorithms. It's a glimpse into a future where your diet could be so precisely tuned, it actively slashes your risk of heart disease with an accuracy we haven't seen before. And in terms of weight management, both interventions in the study led to a reduction in body mass index, BMI. But again, the AI-generated diet showed a greater decrease, 0.68 reduction, which was statistically significant in the study period, the dietitian-led diet's decrease was smaller, 0.30, and wasn't statistically significant in that time frame. Modest changes in 12 weeks, sure, but the AI likely facilitated better weight reduction by fine-tuning calories and optimizing macronutrient balance for sustained energy expenditure and improved metabolism for that specific individual.
Tailored metabolism boosting, almost.
In a way, yes. Overall, the AI-generated personalized nutrition prescription demonstrated superior results across all key cardiometabolic health parameters: glycemic control, lipids, weight management, compared to the conventional dietitian approach in this study. This truly highlights AI's remarkable capability to integrate incredibly complex metabolic biomarkers, nuanced lifestyle habits, even genetic predispositions to craft truly hyper-tailored dietary strategies.
That is genuinely amazing. The potential feels truly transformative for health. But like I said, it immediately raises those big questions, right? What about the newfangled nonsense Arthur mentioned? Like the very intimate privacy of our deeply personal health data. And how do we ensure these incredibly powerful systems are fair, equitable for everyone, regardless of their background or circumstances?
Crucial questions.
It's one thing to see the promise, quite another to navigate the pitfalls.
You're absolutely right to bring those up constantly. When we connect this to the bigger picture, it points directly to the critical ethical considerations that arise right at this intersection of AI, nutrition, and human behavior. The promise of AI. Immense. It could fundamentally redefine personalized nutrition and healthcare, identifying complex, previously unseen links between biomarkers, diet, and long-term health for generations to come. Plus, it offers scalability, cost-effectiveness, potentially making truly personalized nutrition far more accessible globally than ever before. However, there are significant pressing ethical challenges we must proactively address as we develop and deploy these systems. A major one is the absence of truly representative training datasets.
The data the AI learns from.
Exactly. If AI models are primarily trained on data from specific demographic groups, say, younger, fitter Western populations, their healthy recommendations might become irrelevant, culturally inappropriate, or even inaccurate for other diverse groups. Think older individuals with different metabolic needs, people from non-Western dietary traditions, someone with a rare metabolic condition. This can lead to inequitable or even harmful guidance.
So the AI might not work well for everyone if the data isn't diverse.
Precisely. Addressing this demands diverse, inclusive data sets that genuinely reflect global populations. That's essential for equity. Then there's the critical risk of algorithmic bias. AI systems must be meticulously designed to avoid discrimination, ensure fairness. For a tangible example, some wearables use light sensors for health data. Those might perform poorly, give inaccurate readings for individuals with darker skin tones or those with higher BMIs due to differences in light absorption.
Wow, I never thought of that.
It's a real issue. This can lead to unfair or inaccurate health guidance, perpetuating existing health disparities instead of fixing them. Addressing these inherent biases is crucial. Another significant hurdle is the pervasive lack of comprehensive food databases. Accurate, granular personalization needs reliable, extensive, culturally diverse data on food intake and precise composition. We just don't have that globally yet. We also need a much deeper understanding of the complex psychology of nutrition behavior. What really motivates dietary choices beyond just nutrients to craft truly effective, sustainable interventions.
The why behind our eating.
Exactly. Furthermore, privacy and transparency are absolutely paramount. AI systems must rigorously safeguard intensely personal health data, anonymize it, protect it. Equally important, they had to clearly explain their decision-making processes. How did it reach that recommendation? What data did it use? That builds essential trust. Lack of transparency breeds mistrust fast.
The black box problem.
And finally, regulation is imperative. Robust regulations like Europe's GDPR are crucial for data protection broadly, but none specifically address the unique, evolving challenges in nutrition. It's this space where lines blur between food, pharma, wellness, medical nutrition. It is truly up to us as humans to fight to uphold core societal values, ethical morals in this rapidly evolving tech world. Building trustworthy, effective AI solutions demands robust collaboration. AI developers, healthcare professionals, ethicists, policymakers, all working together. We have to ensure AI genuinely empowers individuals, respects their autonomy, accommodates diverse populations with cultural sensitivity, not impose some monolithic vision of health.
That's a really profound point about human responsibility here. It's not just about the tech itself. So it's not just AI creating the perfect diet plan on paper. It's crucially about how it interfaces with us, how it supports us in real time becomes an accessible tool.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where wearable tech comes back in, right? Giving us that immediate personalized guidance like Arthur's watch did, translating complex data into actionable, in-the-moment insights.
Precisely. Which then leads us to consider, how exactly do these wearables function? And how much concrete progress has actually been made in developing them into truly effective tools for dietary monitoring? Because traditional methods, food diaries, they're notoriously prone to inaccuracies. Recall bias is huge. Plus, they're burdensome for users, leading to low compliance. Nobody likes filling out detailed food logs forever.
Tell me about it.
Wearable sensors, however, offer this tremendously promising solution. They can significantly reduce that recall bias and enable continuous, real-time data collection in naturalistic everyday settings. So how do they work? These innovative devices continuously monitor a sophisticated range of behavioral signals and contextual information directly related to eating. For instance, advanced motion sensors, accelerometers, gyroscopes in a watch or wristband can detect subtle yet distinct hand-to-mouth movements, a direct indication of ingestion.
Just tracking your hand movements.
Part of it. Then you have acoustic sensors, microphones designed to capture and analyze the sounds of chewing and swallowing, offering another layer of precise event detection. Different foods make different sounds.
You can tell someone's eating from the sound.
Potentially, yes. Or at least distinguish solid from liquid, crunchy from soft. And increasingly, miniaturized cameras are being seamlessly integrated, maybe worn on glasses or as a pendant. These cameras gather this rich tapestry of data on the entire meal context-specific type and estimated volume of food, the location, the timing. This multimodal sensing approach gives a much more comprehensive, objective picture, and we've seen significant accelerated advances in this technology recently. Research activity, published studies in wearable sensing for food intake monitoring, huge increase, especially from 2020 to 2022. Cutting-edge devices like the Automatic Ingestion Monitor version 2, the AIM-2.3, they exemplify this progress. This device innovatively combines a camera, resistance sensors, inertial sensors, all designed to drastically reduce the labor-intensive burden of traditional monitoring while showing promising performance in capturing eating events. The overarching goal of current research in this rapidly evolving field is to rigorously evaluate the latest advancements in sensor design, their enhanced capabilities for precisely detecting eating events, distinguishing bites, chews, swallows, and their overall performance metrics like accuracy and precision. Critically, testing them both in controlled lab settings and in the messy, unpredictable environments of real-life daily use. This continuous innovation is moving us ever closer to truly seamless, objective, unobtrusive dietary assessment tools. Tools that can support you, the individual, in a way never before possible.
Wow, what an incredible journey this deep dive has been. Seriously. From Maria's very real systemic challenges, the food deserts, the affordability trap, to David's incredibly human psychological battle against supermarket marketing and just sheer decision fatigue.
The checkout aisle gauntlet.
Totally. And then landing on Arthur's high-tech shopping trip of the future, powered by AI and wearables. It's undeniably clear, isn't it? Our relationship with food, and by extension our health, it is just deeply complex. Profoundly influenced by so much more than just what we intend to eat when we walk into that store.
Indeed. While individual choices undoubtedly hold personal significance, we've seen throughout this deep dive that the broader environment, whether it's economic, psychological, or technological, plays this massive, often hidden role in shaping those choices.
It's the context.
It's absolutely the context. It's not just about knowing what to eat. It's fundamentally about making that healthy choice easier, making it more accessible, and making it truly personalized to you, the individual listener, in the precise moment it matters most.
So whether it's through smart policy changes like those sugar taxes, or really addressing food deserts, or clever store designs that subtly nudge us towards healthier options.
Choice architecture again.
Right. Or cutting-edge AI and wearable tech that gives us that real-time guidance and personalized insights. The path to better health, it feels like it's becoming clearer, maybe more achievable.
More tools in the toolbox.
Exactly. It's about building a future where choosing a healthy meal isn't this relentless struggle against hidden sugars or deceptive marketing tricks, but an empowered, supported decision. Ultimately, it's about ensuring that your grocery store really can become your best doctor, quietly working for your well-being, one informed choice at a time.